Welcome to the episode of Straight Like That, the podcast hosted by me, Camille. Today we've got Cameron Brooks on for an epi. What's going on, Cameron? How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good. But first, let's shout out the sponsors. Tasty Mates, a gourmet gummy suite based in London, England. Organically made gummies that come in a few different flavors. They just recently put out a new passion fruit flavor. So be sure to check them out, link in bio for that. And Club DS. Club DS is a streetwear brand based out of Los Angeles. The word 10 means the number 10 in Spanish. And the number 10 in soccer is always the player that brings the most joy, creativity, and takes risks. Inspired by their Mexican roots and the number 10 in the beautiful game, Club 10 created the mantra of Siempre con alegría, which translates to always with joy. The message of the brand stems deep in the Los Angeles community, and the aim is to spread this message to other communities around the world. The mission is to remind people that no matter what you're going through, do it with joy. Life is full of ups and downs, but you will always be able to overcome any obstacle. A little bit of positivity, faith, and joy will go a long way. Siempre con alegría. Let's get straight to it. Why football? How'd you get into it?
This is a really funny story. I got into football when I was around 5 years old. I had an older cousin at the time come and visit me and my family from New York. So they flew down to Austin, Texas for a summer vacation. And it was during the time where he was preparing for his college season. So him and his dad were in the backyard. They were kind of playing around and I had to stay inside, but I was really nosy. So I was kind of peeking through the window and I was just trying to see what they were doing. I was being told to stay inside and let them, do what they were doing because it was really serious. And I
Right,
was like,
right.
yeah, whatever. I'm gonna go out there. So I kind of snuck out there and they were like, fine, if you're out here, just kick the balls to us. So I tried, I kicked the ball and they're like, wait, that was kind of good. Like you could actually do pretty well. And I kicked the ball with my left foot. So they were like, wow, like, yeah, you should definitely get into this sport. And after that, I went to my dad and I asked my dad when I was 5, can I please play soccer? And he said no.
Oh,
And
wow.
yeah, he said no for 2 years. So he put me in basketball, ballet, tap dance, all these other things besides soccer. And the whole reason was he didn't want to spend the $75 to put me out in, grassroots soccer in the middle of summer in Austin, Texas, because he was like, if I put you out there and you only went out there for 10 minutes and you wasted my $75 because you were complaining because it was hot, I would have been mad. So it took him 2 years to be like, okay, fine, I'll let you play. So I
Damn.
eventually started playing soccer when I was 7, which is honestly also kind of a little bit older. Um, and then after that, I was in grassroots soccer for maybe a couple of years, and then I got into club soccer with Lone Star Soccer Club, and I was excelling a lot when I was probably 10 to 13, because by the time I was 13, I got invited to my first youth national team camp with the U14s. So that
Oh,
was really,
wow.
really exciting. But before that, I was doing IDP camps. Um, just a lot of regional identification camps for my age group. And then, yep, I was able to get invited to the U14s, the U16s, and the U18s for the youth national team. And with all that being said, I did a lot of over the summer trainings, a lot of individual trainings. I know that that's something that a lot of people question. It's like, well, what were you doing in the meantime to be able to get to the levels that you were at when I was that age? And the biggest answer that I have was that I was always playing with boys. So my best friend who I was playing soccer with, we ended up playing at the same club, but she was a year younger than me. She was always training with her older brother, and of course, her older brothers had friends. So wherever she was going to training, I was going to training, and we were basically getting roughhoused by these boys that were 4 years older than her, 3 years older than me.
Wow.
And a lot of the times we would just go to these this one person's training facility. His name was Gifton, and he would let us just go in there. The first training sessions usually were at 7 a.m. in the mornings before the parents had to go to work. So they'll bring us in. But then my friend was like, well, we're coming in at the afternoon too because our dad is able to drive us back and forth, but my dad wasn't able to do that for me. So we just kind of stayed there all day and we ended up making our
Wow.
own little summer camp. They trusted us because the guys that we were always with, they were old enough to be at this facility.
Hmm.
So it turned into summers of us training 3 times a day, every single day, Monday to Friday, and then whatever we're doing for 3v3 tournaments or small sided games over the weekends while we were preparing for the next season to come up in club. That's what we were doing. So I just happened to land into a community of soccer players that love the game, that we all grew up in grassroots just
Hmm.
playing and going to these private trainers that will let us stay in the facility all day and train for however long we wanted. So eventually, fast forward to college, I we had to stop playing high school soccer because I was a part of Development Academy, which is a DA, which our club
Hmm.
is connected to. So once we got to the DA level, they said that we can't do both because we had to be at training 4 nights a week and it would be too much on our bodies. They were really doing it to protect us and also to
Yeah.
keep us focused and be committed to showing up on the weekends to our games instead of going to high school soccer games or, causing all these problems. So eventually I had to quit high school soccer my sophomore year and only go and play club. But then once my junior year rolled around to high school, I was able to have these off periods. So I picked the off period where it was the men's soccer teams off or training time. So my off periods, I would go and train with the boys soccer team at high school. And I would just be in there because again, all the boys that were at my high school, I was training with them from the summers previously at these
Hmm.
small small training facilities. So I knew all of them and they're like, "Yeah, come on, you can join in." So when I was doing that, I also decided to graduate high school early and go to the University of Texas at Austin,
God
which
dang.
I actually committed when I was in the ninth grade. So at that point, in time. There was no like you have to wait until you were 11 or you're in
Right.
11th grade. Like you can just commit whenever. And for women's soccer, it was like first come first serve. And if you were really good, tech for girls, like if you're really good at 13, you're probably going to be pretty amazing by the time you're 18. I think
Hmm.
not that we develop early, but there are a lot of earlier signs. And I think development on the guy side is way different than on the female side. So signing a player who's really, really good at 13 is definitely going to give you a return on your investment by the time they're 18 or 19, majority of the time.
Right.
So I ended up signing for Texas or verbally committing for Texas when I was in the ninth grade. And then because I kind of already decided that I was going there, I was like, okay, let me plan to graduate early and go in as a 17-year-old. So I did that. That was super, super fun. And then I
Dang.
got to Texas. And initially, for all of my club years, I was playing as a left back. I played center back when I was like really, really young, around like 10, 11. And then when I was going to national team camps, I was getting invited as a left back. And then in high school, I was able to play like the 6 and 8 defensive center mids. And then once I got to college, I couldn't play outside back because there was juniors and seniors in my position, and I couldn't play center back because again, juniors and seniors like those two positions are very, very anywhere in the back line is really, really hard to just immediately step in and make a difference or play with those minutes, especially when you're getting into the college level.
Hmm.
So I was just like, all right, I was good enough to be on the field, not necessarily a left back. So my coach gave me the opportunity to start at left wing. And after that, that was sophomore year that I was able to get my first, I think, opportunity of playing. And I guess I did like really, really well. So sophomore year led to me, fighting for left wing in the forward position. And junior year was when COVID hit. So when COVID hit, I was still in the left wing forward position. And then eventually I was able to win back my starting spot at outside back once the juniors and the seniors had graduated.
Hmm.
Um, then I was able to transition back to that position. And then my fifth year, I finally had, the starting spot of being the outside back and very solid and not starting every game and getting the most minutes that I could out of the game. And sadly, I tore my ACL 3 months before the NWSL draft. So I might have had like maybe 5 games left of the whole season of my last year. And at this point, I was like, I'm gonna go pro. I kind of already know it, so I don't really need to ask my head coach to extend my scholarship past the first half of the season, because I'm gonna go pro. Like I don't need to stay here any longer.
Yeah.
And I also ended up not getting a master's degree in my 5th year, which was like not a great idea because again, I thought like, oh, it was all gonna work
You're
out. No,
going, yeah.
I ended up tearing my ACL, and it led me to not have any eligibility after this. Like I just couldn't
Mm,
do anything. So basically, it's like the last month of my college season, I tear my ACL, and luckily at the University of Texas, they really take care of their athletes. So I had an injury happen on the field while I was, underneath their care. So I was
mm,
able to still get my surgery through the surgeons that worked with the university as well as do my rehab at the university. But I also had to pay for my own apartment during
mm,
this time. So my ACL rehab was 9 months, the first month and a half. So I got my surgery in November. So we had Christmas break, and I had a lot of time off to kind of recuperate and be in the bed for the time because I tore my ACL and my meniscus, and that was pretty hard. So I'm laying there like for the first 6 weeks, I couldn't walk on my leg, and I had to have a machine kind of push it up and down, and I really was immobile. But eventually it was walkable and I didn't need crutches. So by the time I got back to my apartment, um, after Christmas break, I was able to pick up some jobs. So I picked up a job at Walmart. I was a pharmacy technician at Walmart, which was really cool. I'm not gonna lie. And then I also waitress at Ozzy's Bar and Grill in Austin, and it also had a sand volleyball court connected to the bar and grill. So when it was getting way too much for me to walk on my knee, I asked them to allow me to referee the sand volleyball games instead. So I was kind of
oh,
doing
wow.
those two whenever they needed. And then of course I was door dashing, Ubering on the side because I had the two part-time jobs, and even that sometimes like tips at that bar weren't the best. So I had to pick up, DoorDash, Uber, whatever I could. And I was also walking my friends' dogs. Honestly, finding money anywhere that I could, any which way
Jesus.
to afford this rent in Austin because it was super, super expensive.
Mm,
Eventually, when I was able to kind of walk around and get around, then I was able to go and private train these girls. And it was just because I went to Texas, I was able to like, upcharge it a little bit, but I was still like, I can't really move. Like I can throw you the ball and I can teach you what to do and I can set the drills up and I can like barely get through the cones. Like I can hobble around out here, but don't ask me to do too much because now this is maybe like 6 or 7 months, into
yeah.
rehab. And I'm like still not cleared to do half the things I'm trying to do while I'm training these girls, but I was doing anything that I could at this point. So I get through my rehab, and I get cleared by my surgeon, and I move back home. I did go and take this opportunity to go play with this D2 college. I think it was like in Wisconsin or something. It was somewhere up there. I can't even remember. I went there for a week to train with these guys because they had a recruit come from Manchester United. So I was had connections from the Texas soccer camps that I worked in. Like, well, you should
Mm,
come and train with the boys because they're gonna, put on this little camp for this coach that's going to come watch them. So I went up there to play with the boys. I mean, nothing came out of it at all, but I spent my money to go do it just to see and give myself an opportunity. On top of that, I was still able to get into. So I was basically training with a D2 team for a week or a week and a half, and I was training with the girls as well on that team, or on the girls team of that college too. So in a sense, I went back to a college
for a
team, and I
week.
was playing with these. Yeah, I was playing with these
Mm,
like D2 girls, and then I got back home and I eventually was able to get in contact with a consultancy that was able to get me to a academy in Spain. So it wasn't pro or anything like this. Basically, you pay to play. I was able to go on scholarship, so my boarding was paid for, but I had to pay to get my student visa from, America. Like I had to go to the government to
mm,
go get a student visa to be able to go take a Spanish class. I had to pay for my Spanish class, my flights, my food. And I was supposed to be there for 6 months, but after the first 3 months of being there, I was able to get film, and the guy that had set me up to go to this academy in Spain, I was in Malaga, which was amazing. It was really beautiful. He ended up working with San Diego Wave, and they had put on a pre-draft trial camp. We weren't training with the actual girls on San Diego Wave. It was more for a camp for the San Diego Wave club to see girls and just to see the names that are in the draft, because this was going to be the last year that the draft was happening. So I was able to fly back home, how to get a flight, how to pay for all of my stuff that I was doing in California because it was maybe a 3 or 4 day camp, and I had to go and pay for, you know, Ubers and a hotel and all of these things, like still trying to make the dream happen. Um, I already knew that going to this camp, nothing was going to come out of it. It wasn't that they were recruiting us or anything. They just wanted to give us an example of what it was like to be an NWSL player, and I was actually really grateful that they did that, because they really educated us on what it's like to be an NWSL player, what it's really going to mean when you get to this level, all of these things. So a couple weeks later, I did get my rights picked up by Portland, and I went into the pre. I went into preseason with Portland for 2 weeks. I didn't get picked up, but I found myself in the same room with Becky Sauerbrunn, Megan Klingberg, like Christine Sinclair, Janine Becky. It was just amazing that I was able to be back at this level with, U.S. Women's National Team stars, Canadian national team stars, and I was like, yeah, like I know that this is something that I know I want to pursue and that I can do it. I wasn't bad when I went there, and that was also the first time like I'm actually playing against real level after tearing my ACL. Like I went to
Hmm.
Spain and I played for 3 months. It was bad. It wasn't pro. It was bad. Just bad soccer, you know? So I was like, wow, like this is so crazy. I was sad that I didn't get, you know, a a contract. So, I mean, what can you do? I flew back home, and at this point, I was like, I'm tired. I had to sell my car before I went to Spain. I don't have anybody to practice with here. And I don't have anything. I don't have a job, nothing. So I need to take a break. And I flew to New York to go be with my family that introduced me to the game in the first place, all the way
Hmm.
back from when I was 5.
Hmm.
So I went up there and I stayed there for a week, and I was like, after a week passed, I was like, Dad, overnight me my cleats, some practice clothes. I'm gonna make a way. Like I'm gonna find out. I'm gonna make it do up here, because I started looking for jobs online. I ended up getting a job at this gym called Trooper Fitness. It was in Manhattan on 54th Street. I will forever remember it. It was amazing. Can you imagine like living in New York, just having like a little New York job? Like it's amazing. You know what I mean? Like that was like something everybody dreams of
Crazy,
is
because I was
being
just in New York last weekend, so I know what
right.
you mean.
And it's like I like was literally living the New York life that every 24, like I don't know, everybody just
Hmm.
had that little. So I got to go and do that, and I got the job at the gym, so I didn't have to pay one for a gym or pay for doing my weights and my fitness. I did all of my fitness, everything that I did up until, well, I still do it today. Everything that I was doing, my training plan came from the University of Texas. I always kept every single training plan, and I think that was the worst fitness and the worst when I say worst, like the hardest
The
things
hardest,
that I had to
yeah.
do. I kept them from Texas, and I do those every summer. And I was like, perfect. Like I already have the training plans. I'm just gonna do this and show up every day and do what I need to do because I know that's what got me fit to play at
Hmm.
Texas. And I was like, this is gonna be good. So that's what I did. And then so for Monday, I would wake up at like 3:45 because I had to take the train into the city to get to the gym. Open the gym at like 5:30, get everything settled. I'd work until 11 or 12, and then I would do my weights, do my running, conditioning, go back home to my first aunt's house, who she lived in Astoria, which was like a 10-minute train ride outside of Manhattan. I would go take a nap, and then I'd wake back up in the afternoon, and then I would go and train with Brooklyn FC Two Bridges, which was, I think, like there's some part of USL, like MLS Next Pro. I don't know what the rankings are for guys, but they were a pretty decent club who, are really trying to push boys to be able to give them a pathway to go play pro. So
Hmm.
I somehow got connected with them, and I would wake up and go catch the tram to Roosevelt Island, and I would go and train with them, and I'd come back home really, really late at 10 and do it all over again. Wake up at 3:45 and start work again. So I would do that from Monday to Thursday. Thursday night after training, I would train back to Long Island. And Long Island, that's like another hour and a half train ride the other way,
Hmm.
very far out to stay with my other aunt who was married to the uncle that introduced me to the game. And I would also play there. I was able to catch a ride from that house to go play in Jamaica Queens with men that play in the Jamaican League. And it's really funny how all this happens. Like these guys don't have they're not like legal citizens of America. So they'll come for
Mm.
3 months that their passport would allow them, and they'll pick up off season, like off jobs, you know, and then they'll come into Jamaica Queens and play and do these off jobs to work outside of the Jamaican League season. And then once season starts, they'll go back and they'll try out for the Jamaican League and they'll play their league in Jamaica. And then they start all over again when it comes to Christmas time
Damn.
in the spring. So I was playing with these men and I was playing with Brooklyn FC Two Bridges, and I would go and play in Long Island from Thursday to Sunday and start all over. So I was doing that for 3 months, which was again really amazing. And eventually the team that was Brooklyn FC Two Bridges, that's where the USL Brooklyn FC had started. And that
Mm.
was actually I actually signed my first professional contract with them, but they did not the club was not set up to, you know, they didn't have people in the front office, they didn't have a lot of things together, and they were one of the last leagues to get a field together and get all of
Mm.
their things in order. So my agent was like, at this point I did get in contact with a good agent, really amazing agent, and he's blowing up now, like he's just so good, but he helped me out and he's like, I'm not going to let you be in Brooklyn right now or stay at Brooklyn because I don't think they're going to have it set up and I don't want my player to be there. So he was able to shop me around and I eventually got a contract with Fort Lauderdale United. So I leave New York, I go home, I buy a car, and I'm like, I'm on my way. I drive my car from Texas to Florida, South Florida, by myself. I packed it all up, and I'm like, okay, like this is it. Like I finally
Mm.
became a professional soccer player. So I spent my year at Fort Lauderdale. It was really, really hard because again, I thought I was an outside back. I'm not an outside back. My head coach didn't want me to play outside back. He's like, "You're a center back, bro. Like you're not good at this. Like you're a center back." And I was like, "All right, bro, cool." So the first part of the season was really, really rocky because I'm like able to start and play outside back at this level, at USL level. Like I can do it. You know what I mean? But he was like, "No, like I'm not. We're just gonna train you at center back, and if you want to play, like you basically have to learn." I was like, dang, this is now this and the USL level is on the European time frame. So I'm
Mm.
like, okay, these girls, sorry. So I did the first half of the season. We got a half like mid-season break, which is Christmas break.
Mm.
And coming out of Christmas break, I'm fully converted to being a center back. And I was like, at this point, it was really hard because I had to learn a whole new position, like really learn a whole new position. I understand that I've been playing soccer for so long, but to know the nuances and then on top of that, to do the nuances so much better than what the girls in front of me are doing because they've been playing this game in this position for their whole careers is something that was really hard to do. It really is. Like I had to experience transitioning to play center back at the USL level. I definitely couldn't have done it at the NWSL level. I think I don't mentally I wouldn't have been there and I probably would not have been, you know, a good soccer player honestly in the
Mm.
league anymore. Like I would have just been sent away. So I'm really honestly glad that this had all happened. But I get to halfway through my season and I am finally starting to play center back. Funny thing is that we actually played North Carolina Courage for their preseason. They had came down and as a league, as the USL league, we're trying to prove that, you know, we're still tier one. And a lot of the NWSL teams are starting to play us USL teams. So they came down to Florida for their preseason and they played us. I only played 30 minutes of this game because this is my second time playing center. Like this is my like real life second time
Mm.
scrimmaging playing center back. And I didn't do bad. Like I did pretty well. So they kind of were watching me since then.
Right.
I ended up finishing the season, and at the end of the season, I did get the starting center back spot, and we ended up going all the way to the finals of the first year of the USL. We did lose to
Damn.
Tampa, but by this time, I kind of, you know, did really well, and I had a call from Napoli Women, which is a team in the Serie A. They're like, "We want you to be our center back, so will you come to Italy?" I was like, "Okay, sure." Like, I didn't really know much about what the Serie A was or Italy for real. Obviously, the men's side I understood, but like, I was like, why would I go all the way over here if I'm trying to stay in the NWSL, which is what, or if I want to get to the NWSL, which a lot of the girls in the USL don't understand is that there could be the jump of going to the USL to the NWSL, but to be honest, they really do want you to go and get probably more developed. And you can only do that
Mm-hmm.
if you leave America, go get developed, and then have the opportunity to come back. Because now you've played, for me, I went to the Serie A and I just went and played against Juventus. I had to play against Juventus like 7 times in the 5 months that I was there for real. But because I went to go do that, like I can say that I went to go play against Juventus and you've only played against these teams in the USL, you know what I mean? I was playing against AC Milan, Inter, all, all the
Big
big teams over
clubs.
there. So,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, and I was like we were the second, like second to bottom team in this league, but it didn't matter because I had gotten the exposure that
Right,
I
right. The
needed against
experience.
the big clubs. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
So I went there for 5 months and I actually did really good. And I was expecting to stay there for 2 years. Like I was not expecting any NWSL team to call me. I was like, yeah, yeah, right. And my agent calls me. He's like, NWSL teams are watching you. I'm like, yeah, okay, cool. What can I do with this information? I'm stuck, not stuck. Like I'm in this contract for 2 years. You can't really
Right.
like what can I really do? Whatever. He had put it in the fine print of this contract that they had to claim my rights for the whole 2 years by December 31st. We're on vacation. We're on like Christmas break. Italians aren't going to be working and like
Mm-hmm.
looking at the fine print for these little things. So December 31st rolls around and he's like, North Carolina Courage wants you. Do you want to go back and play in the NWSL? I'm like,
No brainer.
I'm like, yeah, like I'm gonna go. And it's not because I wasn't loyal to the Napoli team. It's like I've low key worked for all of this my whole life. So why wouldn't I
Mm-hmm.
do this? You know what I mean? I had to keep it under wraps for a while, but this all happened like 2 months ago. It's literally happened in January. So I was only in Italy for 5 months, but then I got the call from North Carolina Courage, who was following me since they saw me play center back for 30 minutes
Mm-hmm.
the year
Before
before.
Lauderdale, yeah.
Yeah. So that's really the whole story of how I've gotten here.
Son, I have so many questions right now. I wanted to like just jump in, but like you just kept going, and I'm like, damn, let me just keep listening. Then I'm like, damn, okay, this gets more and more interesting. I'm like, man, when the fuck am I gonna ask a question?
Sorry.
No, no, no.
You
I'm
should have
not. I'm
just
just saying.
stopped me.
No, 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 no shade towards you. I'm just saying, like, your story is so unique and so interesting that I'm just like sitting here and I'm just listening to it all. So
Yeah.
I gotta go all the way back. So when you were 7 now.
Yeah.
So when you wanted to play when you were 5 and you didn't up until 7, you were still playing these other sports, right?
Hmm. Yeah.
So do you think any, I mean, obviously the answer is probably yes, but having, that exposure to other sports helped you kind of, when you started playing soccer, just start running with it right away? Since you were athletic, since you had some good mobility and everything.
Yeah. Honestly, we're gonna just dumb this down. I
Mm.
don't know what I was doing on that field. I just knew I was having fun running around and chasing a ball. This has
Okay.
nothing to do with like a lot of parents or people like think about it so specifically. It had nothing had anything to do with anything. I
Yeah.
generally somehow just have a really burning passion of being in the space of the sport.
Hmm.
I can't say that I have a passion for the game. I just know, and obviously the whole story that I've had, I just had like a urge to just keep going and trying to be the best that I can be at this sport. One, because I'm very competitive and I hate to lose. So when I started getting kicked out of the regional camps and I was
Hmm.
like not getting invited back to these because I wasn't technical enough, oh, I was pissed.
Hmm.
So best believe
Respect.
I'm gonna make sure I'm technical enough to get invited to the next one.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
don't care if I like basketball more than this sport. I'm getting slapped in the face by this sport, not basketball. I could care
Yeah.
less about shooting threes. And also I was always fouling out because I was too aggressive. So I was like, at least in soccer, like I can be more aggressive.
Right, right.
I never really cared. I also didn't wasn't gonna flap around in a dress and tap
Yeah,
shoes. Be real,
yeah,
you know what I mean?
yeah, yeah,
So
yeah.
I think that's really what it was when it was about when it came to soccer. And I just
Hmm.
eventually was I was getting challenged. I think that's really what it is. I am a person that loves a challenge, and soccer
Hmm.
was the challenge that was just it wasn't like challenging enough to where it's like just let it go. It's like challenging enough to be like, okay, I could
Like
do
you
this and
still
let
like
me
it
prove
kept
it to
giving you
myself.
more and
Yeah.
more that you wanted to reach. I hear that. I hear
Yeah.
that. So then let's talk about you just brushed by it, which is kind of crazy. These under 14, 16
Yeah.
international camps. Like where did that come from? What was that like? What was that experience like? Talk to us about all that.
Okay, again, when I was going to these camps and like looking back, I've said this a couple times. I didn't know what a national team camp was. Nobody around me was really getting invited to these national team camps. There was one girl, but she was older than me. And obviously the best girls in the club were getting invited to these camps, but I didn't know them. They were a couple years older than me, so I didn't
Hmm.
really have somebody else, and nobody in my age group or on my team was coming with me. I'm going by myself. I
Hmm.
don't know nothing about no national team camp. I don't know what I'm supposed to do there. I just like, oh, this is fun. Again, I told you I've been to all these other IDP camps and whatever.
Right.
I wasn't like it wasn't serious to me. I didn't know that it was supposed to be serious. I was just
Hmm.
like
Yeah, you're just
yay,
showing
like
up, right?
fun. Like I'm going to California, and I'm like I was just at the national like US any team that like the US Olympic Center. I would go to in America, and I'm just like, oh, this is so fun. Like, look at this cute little vacation. Like, look at what I get to do. And I'm like, not taking it serious. I'm literally just
Right.
there for fun. And I
Right.
never just had somebody that was like, this is real. Like you need to sit down and you really need to take this serious because again, I was just faster and stronger at the time than a lot of the girls. Of course, I would get kicked out of these camps. What I say kicked out, I'm not getting invited back to the camps
Right. Right.
because
Right.
I'm not technical enough. Like these other girls are like really taking it serious when they get back home, you know what I mean? And
Yeah.
I'm just here running around, but I'm good because I just mess around with these guys that are like 3 years older than me when I get back home, you know what I mean?
Right.
So it's like,
Right.
oh, I never took them. Obviously took them serious, but like I didn't know how
I know
serious it
what you
was. I
mean.
also
Yeah.
didn't know, like I didn't know I could be this serious as a player. I didn't know that I could like fulfill the role of being a professional soccer. That stuff was never in my head. I'm just
Right. Just
like
having
that, and that's
fun.
why I always say like I don't know if I have a passion. I just know that I have a purpose for being here and being in this space and being able to have the gifts that I have and steward it and be able to share my experience and bring people along or at least show
Hmm.
people what I'm doing. So I think
Hmm.
that's really what it is. It's more purpose than it is passion. However, I do
Yeah.
love what I do. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah, I hear that. Don't you
Yeah.
think that like going into those camps and stuff at a young age, that like not like psyching yourself up was almost like in your favor? Because like a
I
lot of
well,
people
not
put a
really
lot
because
of.
I didn't get invited back very much. Like I did, but like not for real.
You're
Like
right. You're right.
these girls were like, frequently every month they're going to California, Portland, or wherever the camps
Yeah.
were. They were going. I was like, okay, like I'm just
Yeah.
gonna try my best to get invited again. So it was hand in hand. Like my dad didn't really know much. Maybe he did, and I don't know. I don't know. I can't even remember at this point. I was just having fun, really.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
wish I
Yeah.
took it more serious because then I would have gotten developed more, I think, but even still, it's like I got here. I'm
I was
still
just about to say, you got to where you are right now. Your story is just
yeah,
so
and
different. You know what I mean?
half of the girls that were getting invited back, well, some of them don't play, or I'm actually on the team with them now. Like, regardless of
Right.
if I was getting
Exactly.
invited back then, I'm actually at your level now. So I think
Right.
I can always take that
Right, right,
with
right,
me.
right.
Hmm.
Yeah, no, I meant more so like, a lot of kids, not even kids, like even adults, like a lot of pressure, they fold under pressure, right?
Hmm.
So like a lot of people will show up to those type of camps and like work themselves up and it's like, oh, I have to have a good showing and all this, and they don't really play. They like overanalyze and overthink
Yeah.
everything. I felt like, based on what you're saying, you're over there, you just playing, like, because
Well, I
love
wasn't doing
playing.
good. Like, I was playing, but I probably at the time, like, I know I for sure was like stressed out. These
Right,
camps are
okay, yeah.
very stressful for kids.
Yeah,
It's a whole different ball game, but at the end of the day, it just doesn't really carry weight. It doesn't
right,
carry
right, right,
like
right.
the regretting weight. I was sad like when these things weren't happening, but I don't know. It was an experience that I'm so glad that I was at least able to get it to be a part of, you know what I mean?
Right, 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 right.
So, it taught me a lot about how I'm not like where I needed to be better. So I think that that was
Right.
really good.
So then, where did Texas and committing in ninth grade, like, how did that happen
Mm.
too?
Oh yes. So and I think it's like it's not easier, but when I was younger and doing club soccer, I feel like it was just way more figured out. We would
Hmm.
and there wasn't social media. I feel like social media really messes it up for a lot of people trying to get recruited. These coaches had to take their time out of their weeks to come and come to showcases to see us,
Hmm.
So we just went out there, we balled. And again, at this point, I'm not taking this here. I'm here to play. So
Right.
Texas wasn't my first option. I actually went and visited UNC. I had an offer from UNC. I had an offer from Florida
Oh,
State
wow.
because this was at the time when I was getting invited to these camps. So it's like
Right,
my name
right.
has been in the system, and I'm like, this isn't this Texas wasn't like number one. Actually, I didn't want to go to any school in Texas, and I was like, Dad, I'm not committing. Like, I really want to go to Florida State. However, Florida State and North Carolina, both of those schools, I don't know, it could be different, but both of those schools do not offer freshman full rides. At the time that I
Mm,
went, like the most you could get was 75%. And I'm like, okay, well, I don't really want my parents to have to pay for my college if I can get it for free somewhere else. And I
mm,
also had two younger brothers that my parents were are going to have to put through college at the time.
mm.
So I was like, Dad, I'm not trying to go to Texas. Like, but he was like, it's right down the road. Like, let's just go see it, whatever. And also, so you have the comparison to like when you go to other schools, then you know what to look for. I
True.
went to Texas and I'm like, this is so nice. Like, and I
Yeah.
lived in Austin. I never really like saw it as like a college. You know what I mean? Like, I never saw it like that. And I was like, wait, Dad, I think I actually want to go to Texas. Like, I love it
Quick.
here.
You changed your
I
mind
never,
quick.
really quick. And I never really went home. Like I'm not a homebody. I never went I again 30 minutes away from school. I never really went home unless it was
Mm,
Christmas break. Like I was not at home. I was literally in my city.
mm.
Like doing like I'm in college. Like I really
Yeah.
it wasn't like I don't know. It was great, but I had to commit, not had to, but I did commit because if someone's going to offer you a full ride, like you don't have much time to like
Yeah,
sit
you
on. You
don't
don't
want to
have
wait
like
because then that thing could be
you
sent
don't want
somewhere
to
else.
exactly like
Mm,
someone it will go to somebody else really
right.
quick. So
Right.
my head coach offered and I'm like, yeah, I'll come.
Just like
And
that.
yeah, and I was like, yeah, it's whatever. Like we're just gonna commit. And I had a really good feeling once I was touring the campus. Like my heart was like, yeah, this is where you need to be. Again, I toured and UNC, Florida State. Wasn't really. I went to TCU. It like nothing was as pretty as Texas. So I was like,
Mm.
I like it here. I'm gonna
Hey,
stay.
shout out your dad. He knew what he was doing there.
He did. He really did.
All right, so when you got to Texas, what you and you talked about it earlier about, the position switches and everything like that. But like just in training and basic stuff, did you feel like, you belonged there?
Um, yeah, I don't think, especially in college, which just to say, I think it's also really important that you go to college as an athlete. I
Hmm.
think a lot of athletes are still trying to go straight to pro, but it works out, I think, for some people. But I generally think that if you don't go to college, you miss out on so much. And it's honestly a place to be. It's a way to find community, to find friends, to just have a different perspective and see life differently. But with all that being said, I think that I was just having fun. And to be honest, like I didn't really think about not being a part of what I was where I was because again, I
Mm.
signed for 4 years. Like this isn't you don't get that feeling of do I belong here? Do or okay, no, let me say I didn't have that feeling of do I belong here or do I not belong here? I was just like, I know I'm gonna be here.
Yeah.
So I'm just gonna make the most out of it. And it
Mm.
again, I again not I took soccer serious because I at this point I was getting invited to U18 camp and I felt like I was doing pretty well at Texas
Mm.
for my freshman year, especially going in early. So I think I was doing well and I was having fun. I think it was really good. The issues or the problems that I started having was after that. So my true freshman year, when it's like you really aren't seeing the field, especially when this is my first real season as
Mm.
an at the next level, and it's really really hard. I didn't really have to worry about not traveling or anything like that, so that was kind of nice. And I should have took that into consideration, but that was a blessing that I also had. So it was just
Yeah.
hard just to be a part of it. And I'm learning that as my first, rookie year in the NWSL, this is another thing that I get to experience and have another do-over is just kind of basically taking my freshman year,
Mm.
taking it over again and doing it better than what I did when I was there. It's like all the
Mm.
lessons learned, and getting this far. I think I'm really doing a better job of being a new face in a new place this time
Mm.
around. But
Mm. So when you were going through your years at Texas and then, trying to make it professionally, you talked about going to New York for that 1 week. Was that just to like get away from kind of everything?
yes, so after I tore my ACL, got back, did all that good stuff,
Mm.
went to Portland, didn't get invited or didn't get a contract from Portland. I went to New York
Mm.
because I did not want to stay at my house. Another reason was because I'm trying to pursue a professional goal, and my mom just wasn't really behind the idea. One,
Mm.
she kind of thought that like there have been people that are in my position, so I don't know why I'm working so hard or crying so hard. Like it's happened to people, so I kind of need to move on from playing pro. I think that's where her mind was at when I'm telling her I'm trying to pursue a goal. But she was also so no, she wasn't supportive of what I was trying to do in the time, but she was also just trying to push me to be more realistic, and she just
Mm.
didn't want me to see me go down a path that wasn't fruitful, and to know that I took my LSAT and I could be going to law school. Like she just wanted me to be choosing something that
Oh
is
wow.
in a good, oh, I forgot to say that part too.
Oh wow. Okay,
So
you were
yeah, I
just
did I did do that at the end at the end before I tore my ACL at the end of school. After COVID, I think I took my LSAT and prepared myself to go to law school. That was my backup plan. I was like, I'm not doing that.
wow.
Like, I'm just gonna go pro instead. So I did have somebody that just wasn't in my corner with the vision that I had, but it was because
Yeah.
I already know that I could be doing something that's like actually successful, that's actually
Yeah,
gonna have
yeah.
like money in my pocket, a job,
Hmm.
desk job. Like wouldn't
Stability.
be stability. Like I
Hmm.
wouldn't be worried if I went to do this. So that's also why I could not stay at home because I was like, I finally get to Portland,
Hmm.
accepted or get a contract. So it's like, oh, yeah, I have to go back home with your parents. I'm like, I'm not doing this. I just can't,
Yeah.
especially with my mom. I love her to death, but it's like, there's already somebody that's like, I'm not trying to deal with that. So let me just go
Yeah.
away. And
Yeah.
that's when I was like, I'm still going to pursue this just from over here in New York.
Yeah.
But
Yeah. Yeah. I
sorry,
see.
I
I
forget
see.
what the question was about New York. Oh,
No, so
yeah.
basically going there for a week was to get away from all of that.
Yes.
I hear
Because I
you.
was like, I need to figure this out, but I can't do it here. I need
Yeah,
to
yeah,
figure out the
yeah.
next step. I just couldn't do it in Texas. So that was why I initially went to New York. I already also
Mm.
had it in my head. I was like, this was already calculated. Before I went to New York, I was like, I know I could find a job and I know I could live up there and just get on them trains because my aunts will, take me in for a couple of months and they will provide a house for me to stay in. So that's what had happened. Like New York was always like I you can go on my LSAT account and like I've already applied to like I pre-applied to these New York law schools and all these things and my family is also up there so I already had like a good structure and a good system so
Jesus Christ.
you can imagine from my mom's point of view it's just like what is this girl doing like I don't
Right.
want this child like and there's so much lore like I'm telling you my story but like I understand why my mom like was not behind it because of the
Yeah,
decisions
yeah.
that I made to get to where I am now. Like you're like, yeah, you're really ruining your life. Like if you really knew me and you knew the whole story, it's like, yeah, I'm blowing up my life right now trying to do this, but it worked out. I'm glad
Hey, it
it
did
did.
work out because look, you are at what you were trying to accomplish this entire time.
It did. And again,
Shit.
like, yeah. It's
That
a
is
whole like,
crazy. That is crazy. So in literally an alternative path in life, you would be in New York as a lawyer, huh?
yeah, probably.
Yeah, that's crazy. Oh, damn. All right. So let's talk about how you ended up in Italy. So how did that agent like get you over there? Like what was that
Well,
whole
it actually
process like?
wasn't my agent. This was all on the favor of myself playing on the field. My agent didn't have anything to do with it.
Oh, wow.
My agent was the one that the other team had to get into contact with, but the team saw me play. The team saw my stats from there's a website.
Mm.
Um I don't know what it's called, but you can like not spit, what is it? Like it's a
You talking about
connected to
transfer
Huddle.
market?
No, it's like a website connected to Huddle and Spidio where
Okay.
they'll put your stats out, like all your touches, your passing completion, because
Oh, well, I'm
everything
not
is
familiar with
viewed.
that.
Yeah, I forget what it's called. I forget, sorry. But it'll show like every single soccer player stats. You can literally go up there and look up Ronaldo's stats through this.
Hmm.
You also have to pay for this and like legally be a
I
part of
see.
the FIFA Pro like federation and things like this. But
Okay.
I any team in this world can look me up through this website and if they're like, these are good stats and we want this player, they can find me on my Instagram or they can find my name inserted in this system, in this database. And my agent has to be associated with me as well. So they'll
Oh,
click on
I
my
see.
agent and then they'll go contact my agent and be like, hey, like we want to put this money down. Like this is the offer that we have for her. So that's how you know it's so the agent
Mm.
who's working for me is the name that is contacted in this database. And so the Napoli team was like, we need a center back. I put up good numbers. They saw my highlights from Texas before I tore my ACL, and they were like, yeah, like I think that she would be a good fit for this team. They were
And
trying to
that was
rebuild
before
the team.
you were at Fort Lauderdale before that.
Yes, this is when I
Okay.
was at Fort Lauderdale. I literally played like maybe the last 6 games at center back, and but the thing was this was the USL inaugural year, and everybody wanted
Yeah,
to
yeah,
see
yeah.
what it was. It was more of a spectacle at that point because we could claim
Yeah.
like we're the best, we're in the same league as the NWSL right now. You
Mm,
can't say anything about it, and we have all these like people want to see like what is at the end, like what is it. it was
yeah.
it was more of a production for the first year, so that was also very lucky. Like we had a lot of eyes on us because they wanted to see what was to come out of it.
Mm, mm.
So that was another thing, and you make it to the final stage, and you're the player on the field.
Right, right, right. More
Everything
attention
falls
to
into
you and
place.
everything.
Yep.
Facts. So then when you went over there, what was life in Italy like off the pitch?
It was amazing
Mm,
because, again, I was only really focused on soccer. So I say this, but I did go and I did 2 trips in Italy. I went to the Amalfi Coast, which again was freaking amazing. And then I
yeah.
also took a road trip through Italy. So I drove to Tuscany. That was 4 hours. So I
Mm,
drove to Rome, to Tuscany, back to Rome, back to Napoli. So that was a whole 8 hour road trip for the day.
mm. You
But
did
I
that all in
loved
one
it.
day?
Yeah, with 2 of my
Damn.
teammates, and yeah, but it was really fun because
Uh-huh.
we only had 3 days off, and I was like, I need to go to this hot spring. Like, I need to see it. Like, if there was
Mm,
something I wanted to see, it was that. So we
mm.
went to this hot spring. But life outside was amazing because the people in southern Italy are nice. I'm not going to talk about anything up past Napoli because in Naples, those people are the sweetest people.
Mm.
They're very homey. It's like when you meet southern people in America. Like
Yeah,
they're
yeah,
so
yeah.
nice, they're welcoming, they want you to be a part of their culture and their community as long as you're willing to be a part of their culture and community. Like
Yeah.
I went to my same coffee shop again. It was like 30 steps from my front door. So I went to the same cafe every morning and I became best friends with the two brothers that were the baristas at this coffee shop and the owner. And well, they didn't speak any English, so every morning I'm in there Google translating, but they'll always give me a free coffee and they'll let me like bring my own coffee mug and like make my cappuccinos there. So they eventually
Wow.
invited me to, yeah, it was amazing. They invited me over for New Year's Eve dinner, which is the New Year's Eve dinner is very big there.
Mm.
So I got like a 7 course meal from an Italian mom. Like I had real
Oh,
Italian
that's good
food.
eats too.
It was,
That's for
yeah,
sure
it
good.
was so amazing. Again, we didn't speak the same language. I was on Google Translate this whole time, but
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
that was such a great experience, such a good opportunity that I had, and I was just so like I genuinely had such a great time.
You didn't
So,
come back with no Italian?
not a lot in Poco.
Damn. Oh, there it is.
Yeah.
Damn. Okay. So Italy was a good time. Once your agent, hit you with, okay, the courage wants you. Was that basically a no-brainer to come back?
No, I was actually skeptical. He said
Really?
teams in the NWSL want you, and I'm like, okay. Like, what
Uh-huh.
are you going to tell me? You're going to tell me I have to go to an expansion team. I'm not saying that there's anything wrong with an expansion team. I'm just saying like that's even more instability that I'm going
Hmm.
into. I already experienced an expansion team with Fort Lauderdale, and that whole league, or not league, that team in specifically, the owner was, well, he's getting audited to like go to, I don't know, like he's in trouble right now.
Oh,
And
really?
the whole,
Oh,
yeah, like the
wow.
whole setup with that team was not great. And then how I had to experience that team also wasn't great.
Hmm.
And I was like, I'm not trying to go to a team where I'm the like additional like person on the roster just so like you can fill numbers, because that's what I
Hmm.
really was when I went to Fort Lauderdale. However, at the end of the year, I was able to push the whole thing and
Hmm.
get to a starting spot, but
Hmm.
man, that was hard. And it's like, well, I guess I'm setting myself up to do it again now,
Hmm.
hypothetically, but it's like I'm telling my agent, like, I'm not doing that. Like, I cannot do this again because that was actually really hard. And he was like, well, no, I think this team would be really great competition for you. And I think this is the next step that you need to take in your career. So what he said was, do you want to play in the NWSL? He texted me this. And I'm like, you can call me back in an hour and you can explain to me what's happening, because I'm not about to just straight up tell you, yes, I want to play in the NWSL. Because at the end of the day, what Americans don't understand is that the NWSL is not the end all be all at all
Hmm.
whatsoever. Go play over there in Serie A. Go try
Hmm.
it because it's hard. Like it's so like the NWSL is amazing, but there are other leagues out there that are good. Okay,
Yeah, yeah.
it just so happened that it's America. there's so much more, media and opportunity around it. So
Mm-hmm.
that's really why I'm saying yes to coming back here. Because at the end of the day, the WSL is the goal for if you really want to be a baller for real and you want to take this like league, you go play for Chelsea. Okay, then you can be like, yeah, I've done it all. You know what I mean?
Right,
But I'm
right,
not
right,
playing for
right.
Chelsea. Yeah, I'm not playing for Man City. So once I can go over there and make a mark there as well, I think that would be like,
That should go. That's the next step.
well, yeah, like I'm not, I don't think I'm gonna be done. Like
Oh, okay.
I I still want to see like how good I can get. So of course it's getting
Right.
back to the national team, like going to the Olympics, going to a World Cup.
Mm-hmm.
But you don't know where God has placed for me. But if I can
Mm-hmm.
fight through here and make a mark here, and Manchester United wants me,
Yeah, you
Liverpool
going.
wants me, bye.
Yeah.
Exactly,
Yeah,
bye.
yeah,
Like
yeah, yeah. I hear
bye.
that. I hear that. I
You know
hear
what I
that.
mean? Like
You know,
yeah,
it's kind of
bye.
crazy because a lot of people that I've had, spoken to, they've said like, oh, like it was a goal to play in the US and be close to home. Whoop, whoop. I haven't really heard anyone really say nothing about what you just said. So when you dropped that,
Nah,
I was like, oh,
no,
that's a new
bye.
one.
If I can gift my dad with my own Man City jersey, bye. Like I'm leaving.
Yeah, that's cold.
I, like bye. I don't really know how good those girls get taken care of, but it's like to play at that level, that's different. Of course, every girl
Yeah.
still comes back to play in this league. That's cool. And that's
Mm,
what I want to do. Like this would hopefully be like an ending stop to come back to the NWSL, but to have a year at Chelsea or like a big
big team
European
over there.
club, like
Yeah, yeah.
that's yeah.
That's the goal for sure.
That's the goal because I don't know nothing about soccer. Like I grew up in the again, my dad didn't know anything about soccer. So like the
Right.
goal isn't like what I'm seeing in front of me. The goal is to bring home a Man City shirt with my name on the back of it. Like that would be
Yours.
so
Yeah,
crazy.
yeah,
Do you see what
yours.
I'm
You didn't pay
saying? Like
for it. I hear you.
I didn't pay for it. Like I see what I watched when I was growing up was Man City,
Mhm.
Chelsea, and Manchester United. Like
Yeah,
so hypothetically that's the goal for me.
yeah,
Like
I hear
that would
you.
be childhood dreams.
I hear
But
you. So right now,
I'm
this is
happy
your
that I
rookie
can.
season.
Yeah, and I'm 25. Like I'm about to be 26. Rookie season at 26. And yeah, it's been a long
Hey, it's
road.
really not even that old. That's young, honestly.
It
That's
is.
fresh
It is young
legs.
and it is old. You got like your 18-year-olds like doing their rookie season. So it's like,
Yeah, but that's different. Everyone got their own little path and
yeah,
stuff, you know? But
yeah,
so this is your first season. Y'all just started, didn't you? I think it's like last week.
yep, yeah.
Okay. So what, and the season runs how? How does it run in y'all's league?
Well, because the World Cup is here this year,
Yeah.
we're gonna have the month off of June from games, but we'll still have
Okay.
practice and things like this. And then I think we end in November.
Okay.
But however, this would be me playing year round, which players
Right,
don't
right, because
do.
you just came back from
I just
Italy.
came like this is my
Yeah,
second
yeah,
preseason within 5 months, so I would
yeah,
be playing year round at this point.
yeah. So how are
So
you
that's like,
feeling? How are you feeling
yeah,
training here and everything like that?
that's another thing. I was like, honestly, my body's keeping up. I think
Okay,
June is going
good.
to be the perfect time where my body like is going to really need the rest, and that's
Hmm.
not too far around the corner. And I think it's working out exactly how I need it to
Hmm.
work out. But I think that's what it is. I think the goal, like if I can get through this year, that's what my whole rest of my career, in my point of view, is going to look like. I'm
Yeah.
expecting myself to get to the highest level or hopefully travel with the U.S. women's national team at one point. So it's like
Hmm.
if I can handle the hard now
Hmm.
of playing year round, like this is what I'm setting myself up for. Like I know what I want in my head, and this is
Yeah.
exactly what the trials that I need to go through is setting me up for. So like little things like
Okay.
this is how I think
Okay.
about it.
All right. Because one of the questions was, like, what are some of your short-term and long-term goals? You kind of just answered it all right there,
Oh
short
yeah,
and
I can't.
long.
Yeah, I can't tell you everything because I got haters out there.
No, in fact, some
I'm
you got to
not.
keep close.
Yeah,
Some
I'm
shit
gonna
you got
keep
to
a
keep
lot of
close.
yeah, a lot of the other things. Like I've said, everything that I like, a little bit of it. There's a lot more that we're going for,
Yeah,
that we're
yeah, yeah,
gunning
yeah.
for, but it's gonna take a while
Yeah,
to
yeah,
get
yeah.
there, and I'm
I hear
down for
that.
it. So
I hear that. All right, so let's
yeah,
go ahead and tap into some of these Instagram questions real quick, and
okay,
then we'll hit some get to know questions, if you will.
cool.
Okay, so someone said favorite dish while in Italy.
Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Okay, this is so strange. It's not strange,
Okay.
but they had this meal and it's like lentil pasta. So it's like lentils. I don't know if you know
Uh-huh.
what those are.
Yeah, yeah,
And then
yeah.
there's like these baby, I don't know what it's called, like dinatelli. I think it's something right around this word, but it's like these baby pastas that were like this small. And actually, it's a Sicilian dish, but we had it all the time. And that was my favorite dish. I'll still eat it here. And it, again, this was like a struggle meal. I'm pretty sure like this is a struggle meal in Italy that they would make,
So it's
but we had,
lentils and pasta.
yes, lentils, pasta, and like if you really get it made from the restaurant, they'll put tomatoes, like Parmesan cheese. Obviously, like
Okay, I
you
was
don't
about to
want to get
say
that
that's it.
dust.
Just those two things.
No, it was like vegetable, like olive oil, salt, pepper,
Okay,
Parmesan,
okay, okay.
and like nice tomatoes and sometimes carrots. So this is a Sicilian dish. But that was my favorite food that I've ever had. Like I could eat lentils and pasta every day, and it was
Crazy.
like you would never guess. Like you'd have to look it up, but I'm pretty sure that's like definitely one of the struggle meals. Like you know how we have like
Okay.
buttered toast
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
in
yeah. Or
America,
peanut
like
butter and
that
bread.
was
Yeah.
yes, like that I'm
Yeah.
pretty sure, but it was so good.
Okay. All right. Someone said, who's been like the hardest player you've played against?
The hardest player that I've had to play against so far, well,
Yeah.
Sophia Smith was good. She's really good, obviously. And
Hmm.
fun fact, I had to play against her when I was young, like when I was 14, because our teams played against each other
Like
in
your club
club.
team?
So yeah, so I
Oh,
played
wow.
against her in club.
Mm.
I didn't have to play against her in national team camps because I think she was always getting it called up earlier. I played with her again when I went to Portland. She was doing really well. This is before she had gotten pregnant and
Mm.
had a baby. So she's really, really good. Another person is I can't think of her name right now, which is bad. Maybe that means like she's not. No, I'm just really bad with names. She's one of the Italian forwards. She's a forward for Lazio, and she's 30, but she was really good because that was the first time I'm like, dang, like there are some killers out there. She was like a
Yeah.
bigger body, good technically, like everything was good, and I think that's just a little bit of a difference. I think my feet have had to be so much better, especially like on the top of the box when you're defending, because these girls are shooting like men, like
Yeah.
like Premier League men. Like
Yeah, yeah.
it's not bad. Like every one of them, yeah, that's what I have to say. Like there's a very big difference from the like the top forwards in the Serie A. Obviously, she's the forward for the Italian national team. And then you're playing against girls that are like from the German national team and then girls in Juventus, but she was good. Mm,
She gave
she
you
was
problems. It sounds like it.
Actually, she didn't give me problems. I somehow locked her down.
Oh.
That's another thing. Like I
Oh.
had like these were like magical games that I had, and I'm like, oh my gosh, like she never scored on me. But maybe because she was so that was so much of a competition that she brought out the best in me, which is why she is so good in my book. And I was like, man, if
I
we spoke the same
see.
language, I'd be like respect, like I like you, like you know what I mean. But it
You had
really
to
what it
practice a little of
was
your
she
Italian there.
yeah, she was
Yeah.
just so good that she brought out the best in me. That's why I had to give it to her.
Fire. That's respect, actually.
Yeah.
All right. And then last one. What's the best goal you've scored?
Oh my gosh.
At any level,
I
too.
Yeah, it was in college. It was a
Okay.
PK, and I was like the fifth person to take a PK. So like
Okay.
you make it or you lose, you
It's
know
over
what I
with.
mean?
Right.
I made my PK. It was against West Virginia, which rivals. West Virginia has notoriously been good at, D or in the Big 12. Always
Mhm.
good. So we had to beat um West Virginia to go play against TCU, who has again always been top in
Mhm.
the Big 12. So this is the Big 12 tournament leading into the NCAA tournament. We
Mhm.
did lose against TCU, but we beat West Virginia, and I scored the final PK. So it was one of those where like the whole team
So
like
you
runs
you
to
hit it
me.
and you won.
Yeah, I hit it, ran, and
Okay.
like it was like Team Selly, like dog pile on me. Like that was
Yeah,
that
yeah,
was
yeah.
my favorite goal.
Was
That
it a
was like
good
my
pen though?
favorite.
Did you put it
It
in?
was good. No, I
Okay.
had a good. I did it good. I did
Okay.
it
All right,
good.
let's do a couple of get to know Cameron questions, all right? So, seems like you be putting that shit on.
I don't know about that.
Seems like it. So, going into a big game, what are you wearing?
I know this is not a good question for me because I don't really put anything on. Like there are some other girls that like really are the issue is that I've been broke for so long. Like I'm telling you, well, I was working at Walmart, I was broke, okay? Like I've been broke for so long that it's like in Fort Lauderdale, I was like, oh, I finally, have some money. I'm gonna spend it and I'm gonna put it on for real. However, I just learned that that's just probably not the best thing because my money,
Smart.
I'm like, me and my money, I'm not spending it. I'm at the point where
Smart.
like I'm not spending it. And also, once you go overseas and you see how they operate, they don't give two shits about what you're about to wear
They
to the game. They
don't.
said you better shut the fuck up. Like, don't post on social media, don't use your phone, don't do nothing. They said soccer and soccer only. I was like, once I got over there for 5 months, I'm like, I don't need to put no
It's
type of clothes
strictly
on. Like,
business
I'm
over
like,
there.
it's strictly business. They're not
Hmm.
playing around. They
Hmm.
don't care. You know what I mean? Like, we had to wear the same thing every single day, game
I
day,
was just
home
about
or
to say you
no
had to
matter what.
look the tracksuit or the collar on.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, like there was no outfits. I was like, yeah, you're right. And also, I've been having to move. Like I've moved my up and moved my
Yeah,
life like
yeah.
every year and a half. So like I'm starting to understand like I'm not about to put nothing on for game day unless I honestly because thrift was so good in Italy, I was thrifted a Balenciaga top for $100. Like off white, all these things because
Jeez.
the clothes are so good there
Right, right.
that I do have some pieces in my closet that will be getting reworn. Okay. I
All
will
right.
refashion it on how I've already put it on my Instagram for so like it will look like I'm putting it on for the next couple of home games, but hypothetically, like I'm just past not past the point because once I do make more money, I will be putting it on. It's just right now I understand where I'm at financially. It is
You're
just
smart.
not
Hey, you're smart.
like
What can
right,
we
we're playing
say?
the game. Like the game is let me do what I need to do and use the gifts that I have so I can build that reputation, like build what I have on it. So then I can add like, oh, now she has game day fits. Like now she can do all these things. Like,
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
like
yeah, yeah.
honestly, I wish I can like have it out the gate, but I don't. And I'll be so
Okay.
honest about it too. But
That's that UT Austin education right there.
right. However, even this like last week, I really like I do like to thrift. Like I'm not amazing. Like some people, have the knack for it, but I don't.
Mm.
I would prefer to find something that somebody else cannot find online.
Yeah.
So I would rather like thrift it or like build pieces in my closet. Um and I want to just if I am going to do something like game day fits, I want to be very so authentic that it's like, wow, I've never seen someone put that on. Also, I'm not the type of person to have the same type of aesthetic every time I step out. Like yesterday, like last time for this last game day, I did Y2K. If I want to do like country girl, I'll do country girl. I'll do like
Oh,
skater, rock. Like if I want to do something totally different, outlandish, I'm gonna do it. I'm obviously not gonna go
variety.
there. That's the word. It's variety, and I don't like one thing, but like I'll also wear a dress too. Like I'll like dress like I'm going to the Oscars. Like just something crazy, something like just so different every single time. That's what I
Unpredictable.
really
There you
like.
go.
Yeah.
Unpredictable. I like
Sorry,
that.
that was a lot about game day outfits. But to answer your question, I do not put it on. This year we're gonna be frugal because it's
I hear
just a
you.
picture,
I hear
and
you.
that's not where we're at right now. But I'm
In due
I'm gonna get
time.
there.
In due time
In
it'll
due time,
come.
I'm gonna get
There you
there,
go.
and I'll
There you
surprise you
go.
with variety.
All right. All right, next. What's the best barbecue spot in Austin?
Oh,
Because I
well,
got one
oh.
personally. I've been out
Wait,
there.
you say it first. You say yours first. Don't say Terry Blackstone. Are you for? I know
Listen,
you're
I
lying.
went. That shit was so good. It was so good. You can't tell me it's not good.
I only went once, and
And it
I've
wasn't
lived
good?
there. It was okay. Like I would rather just go to Rudy's. Do you know what Rudy's is?
Nah. I
Okay,
was only there for 2 days.
oh no, that's fine. I mean, yeah, yeah, it was good. I guess. I can't agree. Like, yeah, I
Okay,
can't agree.
respect.
I
So
would
then what's
just
your
go to
favorite? How about that?
Rudy's.
Rudy's?
Yeah, it's called Rudy's, but it's more of a chain in Austin, which is or not in Austin, in Texas.
Hmm.
And so people are gonna be like, that's like gross. But no, my family, if we want barbecue, like family, because it's more of like a they make brisket, chicken. Oh my gosh, their brisket is so good. Just to take home. And they have this
Uh-huh.
thing called cream corn, so good. However, Terry Black's did have like cornbread, macaroni and cheese,
Yeah.
greens, I'm pretty sure,
Yeah.
which was cool and all, but like I grew up with that. So like I'm
Okay.
there for the meat, like cook the meat well, and we're
Okay.
good because I can
Rudy's,
make
that's the name?
everything else.
Rudy's?
It was called Rudy's, yeah.
Okay. All right. All
You
right.
got to get it moist. I know you don't like that word's weird, but nah, like, and I like brisket. That's it. But like, yeah.
Okay. All right. Next time I'm gonna tap into that then. Rudy's.
Mm.
All right. Like, what artists do you listen to kind of get you into that mode going into a game?
once I got to Italy, I started to understand myself a little bit more because Italy was no joke. Like
Mm,
I was playing every single game. So at this point I was like I need to find something and it's not hype. Like the hype music isn't it's not that it's not working, but I know I need to be calm. So then
mm,
I was like, okay, let me try to do classical music because I read a lot of books or I watch a lot of um videos on YouTube about other athletes and how they prepare themselves because I think again like it's not I love soccer, but it's the passion of me. I have a passion for being an athlete, and it happened to for me to show it through soccer. So like
mm,
I want to be the best athlete. The best athlete in my head is Tom Brady. Like that's who I look up to. Don't
mm.
ask me to who my favorite I actually do have favorite soccer players, but it's like my idols aren't soccer players. It's like who is the best athlete and that's what I
Yeah,
want to do. I just show it through soccer. So it's like I would always be watching videos or YouTube videos of like how Anthony Edwards goes throughout his day. Like I love just seeing how the best athletes operate. And that's what I go
that's
off of.
fire,
So I
actually.
would hear some athletes like, all right, I listen to classical music. Or say if you watch like either Hard Knocks, Starting Five, any of the like
Great
athletic
shows.
documentaries,
Hmm.
right. All of those. What's the other one? Oh, quarterbacks and wide receivers on
Yeah.
Netflix.
Then they got the starting. You said starting five. They got
Yeah.
Last Chance You was decent too.
Yes. Like
Hmm.
all of those little shows I'm watching, but you pick up here and there what those the best that are getting interviewed, what they do. So some
Hmm.
of them like classical music. I was like, okay, let me try this. So now every time before and I was in Italy, I'm like listening to classical music to stretch is more of like my wind down time of like
Mm,
zoning in. Like how do I and I would again read a lot of books. So one thing that I took from this one specific book that I read that has helped me the most with my mindset is to picture a clear lake and you kind of have to like that's how you have to think about the game. It's like you need to find a flow state. My flow state is when I'm picturing myself in front of a clear lake. The water's not even moving. It's just calm in my head. So to get that picture in my head, I'm listening to classical music. I also like not train myself, but when I'm watching film, I know I'm gonna watch it. I'm gonna sit down and be like, oh, I did this wrong. I did this wrong. Like I need to do this better. But if I watch it with classical music, it's like, okay, like I'm just like studying my art. Like it's not you did this wrong. It's how do we like what is the better option? It's giving myself answers instead of beating myself up for the answer that I gave at the time in the film. So
mm.
I think classical music has helped me a lot with that. But other than that, I'm definitely listening to some Christian music just to be centered because I again, clearly I've gotten so far, but I did not do it by myself. I
Mm.
did this through faith and so I can't leave Jesus Christ behind. Like he's got to be there, especially when it comes to this game. Like I got a second opportunity to have a stage like this to be able to perform. So I give it a lot. I give it, I give it up to him because I could not be here and go through all the hard things that I did without having him to support me through it. You know what I mean? So
Yeah, I hear you. Man, okay. Respectful answer. That was a very
yeah,
peaceful. You hit that still lake, and in my head, I'm thinking, damn, that's just calm as hell right now, actually.
yeah, calm, like mad calm. Yeah,
But yeah, all right, Cameron, thank you for coming on, sharing your story. It's a very unique story. I'm sure like people that are gonna listen to this are gonna really appreciate the fact that like you went many different ways to get to your final goal, and there's a lot more to accomplish for you. So
yes.
I'm wishing you, a healthy and blessed season and a lot more to come.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate you.